Hey guys, it's your favorite Dinobot here, and today we have the Monster Hunter versus Goku, the real winner. Now, before we actually start this here, I had a lot of people telling me that Goku was out of Versal and stuff, and let's address that real quick here. So, a lot of people tend to use this scan about the other world, saying that it's connected to Asian mythology, but again, they fail to actually go into the few similarities part, meaning that it's not fully accurate. Then they use the other world or the Kaioshin realm or heaven and hell, where it's actually stated that it has Jigen and Cho a part of the cosmology, and how the supernatural realm of the gods is a higher dimensional, transcendent heavenly country that cannot be perceived by the human realm. Now, again, keep in mind that these things do not make it universal. This does not make the Dragon Ball cosmology universal, because again, there are only a certain few dimensions that they can actually transcend. Also, the full definition for universal means you have to completely transcend the likes of time, space, and dimensionality. Remember, the complete definition. How does a macrocosm, which honestly gets to fifth dimensional if you look at the actual tiering system, and a cosmology that doesn't even have the full, I guess you could say, Asian mythology that involves things like Asura, the seven deities, and Sun Wukong, also be considered universal here? And again, Goku has to fully transcend space, time, and dimensionality. And even if you guys want to say, oh, well, he still should be it because of certain things here, like I pointed earlier, why can't Goku actually affect time on such a level that he's able to change history? Why does Dragon Ball characters, or why do Dragon Ball characters need a time machine in order to go back and forth in time? And again, this is because they're limited to what they can do. This isn't like Xenogoku, who can actually protect and fix changes in history. But if you guys don't want my word for it, you can easily head over to people like Nothing Important here, a good friend of mine, and someone who's actually helped me with my channel before. And he actually talks about it and even challenges those like Official Divine and Drip Sauce here about their Dragon Ball cosmology, even challenging them to a debate for it, which we're still waiting on. And then there's also Jobbers and Goons. So go subscribe to their channels for, I guess you could say, the official debunks and for a lot more detailed explanations about it. And if you guys want an out-of-versal character, for example, from me, I would have Dialga. All right? It's very simple. He's easily beyond, time, space, and dimensionality, and is able to affect it to such a degree where he can rewind all of history if he wanted to. So, without further ado, let's actually get into this real winner. All right, let's get into this hot take in general. And we'll go into Goku. Goku is in the high complex multiversal. All right. Now, if you guys want to say it like, oh, well, what about the hyperversal stuff like that? Again, he needs other things in order to get there. There's things like super gravity metas. There's also things like higher dimensional scaling, consistent time and space scaling, as well as Dragon Ball doesn't really seem to do it all like that. They have a very wonky and weird power scaling system. I'm not saying it's inconsistent, but I mean, it kind of is. They don't focus on the time and space scaling. You just think like, oh, Goku's stronger here, or maybe he's not stronger here, or he's supposed to progress as he goes on. But again, Goku should be in the high complex multiversal margin, as he's leagues above his Battle of the Gods arc self, which would have destroyed the entire universe. With the Dragon Ball universe being infinite in size, and he was affecting realms like both heaven and hell, which scale to the universe, and obviously there's Snake Way, to which are all infinite in size, right? So you have him being able to affect a macrocosm, which in all honesty is around the fifth dimensional margin, and Goku was getting stronger than that and surpassing those levels consistently. You then also have the sheer fact that he was able to battle and defeat characters like Jiren, being able to harm characters like Gas and Granola, and even the likes of Moro. These characters have a little bit of interesting scaling here, because again, they don't scale to Beerus or possibly any of the other gods of destructions, But we do know that they were able to affect the World of Void, with Topo even being able to see the World of Void with light itself here. And the World of Void is basically an infinite void without time and space. Like, it just doesn't have it. And these characters were shaking it, affecting it, and just doing all these things to it, obviously, right? Goku has a plethora of techniques like the Kaioken, which is able to use in his Super Saiyan Blue form to increase his strength and speed to the point where he can even blitz characters like Hit, who can move through time around 0.0, I think, 1 seconds, or at least in a microsecond, if you will. And then you also have characters like Moro, Gas, who's able to cross, space in an instant, which would definitely put him at faster than light, to many times faster than light. You have the sheer fact that Goku, with his autonomous movement or Ultra Instinct, is able to basically react and dodge and even blitz characters just without thinking. Meaning he's operating on, well, what the name implies, Ultra Instinct. And even comes with other techniques such as key amplification, key strikes as well, or I should say kind of like these I guess you could say like key strikes, if you will, but again, it's kind of like you're using the force behind your punch to strike your opponent, all right? And Goku also has the Akai, which can erase people from existence, unless they're immortal and unless they're stronger than the character. So without further ado, let's get into the Monster Hunter. Now, the Monster Hunter in this one will be having his Rathalos armor, all right? But he will be able to use the abilities of the other monsters just to kind of balance out the hacks and abilities here. We will also not be using the crossover scaling here, because things like the Teppen game and Raid Shadow Legends, which, by the way, I got the I just got the Rathalos Hunter here, and he just flows like a dream. He's amazing, you guys. But again, using these crossovers here, the Hunter would actually get to Outerversal, as he would scale to characters like Sun Wukong. And considering the fact that his, monsters were actually giving characters like Morgan Ainsland, Dante, and Mega Man a hard time, it would definitely put him a lot stronger than what he is in canon. But how strong is the Monster Hunter in canon? The Monster Hunter would actually upscale the likes of Dishu Fiora, who is noted to be the strongest monster in G rank. Keep in mind, this even includes the likes of White Fatalis and Zenith White Fatalis. And this would also include the Black Dragon lineage. Now you might say, legendary, what do you mean by that? How strong is the Black Dragon lineage in general? And again, I'm glad you asked. Well, the Black Dragon lineage would they have a very interesting scaling here. And let's start off with Alatreon. Alatreon is noted to be a dragon, or a black dragon, if you will, excuse me, that is so powerful that the gods fear it. Now, who are the gods in Monster Hunter? The gods in Monster Hunter are the beings who created the entire universe. Keep in mind that in Capcom, it's actually confirmed that all their universes are infinite in size. And these dragons were able to create everything from space to time to reality to the planets, the stars, everything. And again, we might see these dragons eventually. I hope we do, and I hope we do get to fight them. But then again, that would put the Monster Hunter at a very high tier, so it probably would be like very overpowered here. And again, Alatreon scares these beings, meaning he should be more powerful than the first 5 dragons. Now, you can get this into a plethora, and I mean a plethora level of scaling here. But again, we'll put it at the multiversal margin for right now. Then you also have the sheer fact that Sapphire Jiva upscales Alatreon. Not by a significant margin, because again, their turf war would have been very destructive and possibly could have destroyed the entire Monster Hunter world, which even includes beings like Dalmador, Shah Dalmador, and many other Elder Dragons in there. And again, Sapphire Jiva would have eventually won this. Despite the fact that it would have been a high difficulty, he still would upscale Alatreon by a small margin, meaning he should be Multiversal Plus. Now, Fatalis himself, who was noted to be, awakened by Sapphire Jiva's emergence here, is actually known to transcend the likes of space and time, to the point where he's able to travel through dimensions. And this would automatically put just Black Fatalis alone at a fifth dimensional margin, or even a sixth dimensional margin, because again should upscale a lot of the other monsters, and again upscaling the likes of Elation and Sci-Fi Jiva put together. Then you have Crimson Fatalis, who's confirmed to be stronger than that, but not by a significant margin, which will put him at the 6 or 7D. You then have 8th Dimensional with White Fatalis, and then Dishu Fiora would upscale that, meaning you could put him at an 8 or 9 Dimensional. And then the Monster Hunter also upscales that, which puts him at a 9th or 10th Dimensional. But let's go with the 9D for safer reasons here. The Monster Hunter would also be massively faster than light, as again, scaling to these characters who transcend space and time, which will put them at faster than light to many times faster than light as well. You also have the sheer fact that Monster Hunter is actually incredibly durable as well. You see, the Monster Hunter can actually take attacks that are noted to affect the user's soul. You see, he's been able to take a Cantor's Black Flames, which are noted to burn the user's very soul here. Xenojiva's Claws are actually noted to attack the soul of its opponents. You even have the sheer fact that both White and Zenith Fatalis are noted to have unrivaled power. And here's the funny thing, right? Fatalis can erase hunters from existence, with Black Fatalis being able to do this with his Fire Breath, and then you also have White Fatalis with his Lightning. Now, if you guys want to know where the Elder Dragon or the Elder Dragon Deviants would scale there, now there is some things like Solar System to, low galaxy, stuff like that, as Deviants are able to go toe-to-toe with Elder Dragons. Some of these Elder Dragons scale to each other, with other Elder Dragons like Nergigante upscaling that, so you have your, Universal, to then you can just drop it lower to Galaxy or multi-galaxy level. Again, there is a very consistent scaling with Monster Hunter depending on how you want to, what's the word I'm looking for, take the Elder Dragons relatively scaling to each other. But we also know that Nergigante is at the top of the food chain, meaning he would upscale them. You even have Elder Dragons like Shao Dalmador, which are able to create a river of stars for the entire Earth to admire, which again would mean that Shao Dalmador is creating around 4,000 stars by our, by our definition, Which again means that the Monster Hunter has a very high level of scaling, which again, you can just easily upscale other monsters from that, still putting the Monster Hunter at a universal to possibly even multiversal margin, as again, Black Dragons would upscale them by a huge number of means here. The Monster Hunter also has a plethora of hexes, such as being able to wield the power and abilities of any other monster. So he could use Midutsune's Bubble Foam to actually cause himself to feel a little bit slippery and slick around the battlefield. He can use a Cantor's Flames, a Latreon's Lightning, and so on and so forth. So you have a being that can easily get from 9th to 10th dimensional, depending on how you want to take the higher end scaling of complex multiversal as well. But without further ado, let's actually talk about it. Who wins this more often than not? Now, easily these characters are both in the same tier. And again, I feel like a lot of y'all thought I was going to say the Monster Hunter would wreck Goku. However, there is a bit of a problem here. Even with all the hexes and all the abilities that each one have here, there's actually one thing that's going to be important, and that's the potency of these hexes, or the application of them. While I do think they are equal, especially in terms of, I guess you can say their hexes, I think the Monster Hunter is a little bit more durable than Goku, and is definitely a lot stronger than Goku. Goku is definitely faster, and is definitely equally skilled as the Monster Hunter here. However, the problem is the Monster Hunter can resist a lot of Goku's attacks that honestly, Goku probably can't even resist either. Because again, I know you guys are going to bring up how Goku resisted the Hakai and stuff, and how that means his soul can't be attacked here. But you guys have to understand, Caesar didn't know how powerful Goku was here. He didn't. Let's be real. He didn't know how powerful Goku or Frieza actually was here. And then we fast forward to the Tournament of Power, where no one's allowed to kill, and Toppo simply overwhelmed Frieza when actually using his Hakai. This doesn't mean that Toppo is stronger than Seadra. He might be. He might be stronger than a holding back Seadra, or a Seadra that's not even considering the power level of his opponent. But again, we don't exactly know if Toppo would be stronger than Seadra. We don't even know if Seadra's the weakest god of destruction. We just said he's just a pretty lame destroyer. Like, he barely destroys things. Which, again, says a lot about how, I guess you could say, how trash he really is, though. But again, with the Hunter having better hacks resistance than Goku, and with him having more attacks that can affect Goku, I would actually say the Monster Hunter takes this mid to high difficulty. However, if we went into their higher scaling with giving Goku the hyperversal scaling and stuff like that, and then we give the Monster Hunter his other forms of scaling, which put him against, beings like Dante, Morgan Ainsland, and Mega Man, and then the Raid Shadow Legends scaling with characters like Sun Wukong, who gets into 3 layers into Outer Versal, and the Monster Hunter fighting relative to that. Yeah, the Monster Hunter would curb stomp Goku if we give him his crossover scaling. However, giving them both their canon scaling, with both of them being in the more 9th to 10th dimensional margin, if we actually go with the higher ends of both of them, the Monster Hunter would still be slightly higher than Goku, at least by at least 1 or 2 dimensional margins. So at the end of the day, the Monster Hunter could stomp, but again, going on the more safer end, it's actually a 50-50, but the Monster Hunter continuously out-hacks and out-resists Goku. But that's going to be all today, guys. Please comment down below, like and subscribe and share with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I hope y'all have a blessed day.